He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right.
So in a matter of seconds, it all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky.
Two families in mourning after an unthinkable series of events.
We need support. Please support us. Please support our deputy.
Was it revenge? Police have now arrested this man and charged him with aggravated murder for plowing his car into a deputy today. His son, a suspect in a crime, was shot and killed yesterday by a Cincinnati police officer.
Rodney Hinton Jr. is the father of the 18-year-old suspect who was shot and killed by Cincinnati police during a confrontation in East Price Hill. He was not too happy when his son was killed under a very suspicious circumstances by the police, so he decided to take matters into his own hands by driving into a retired deputy named Larry Henderson, who had recently ended a 33-year career with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, was working a special detail, directing traffic and so forth.
Series of events.
We need support. Please support us. Please support our deputy.
Was it revenge? Police have now arrested this man and charged him with aggravated murder for plowing his car into a deputy today. His son, a suspect in a crime, was shot and killed yesterday by a Cincinnati police officer.
Let me take you back to this scene, this unspeakable scene. Now, what we've learned is Hinton, again, is the father of the 18-year-old who was killed in the officer-involved shooting on Thursday in East Price Hill. Now, the deputy who was unfortunately lost his life yesterday helping manage traffic when he was struck by a vehicle at the intersection. Now, Cincinnati police are accusing Hinton of driving the vehicle, leaving behind this unspeakable scene that you're taking a look at on your screen right now. Now, the deputy later died at the hospital.
18-year-old Ryan Hinto and his friend were on a robbing spree when they were chased by cops. Unfortunately, Ryan was shot along the line of his arrest and he died.
Tonight, Cincinnati police are sharing body camera video of the moments that led to an officer-involved shooting and killing of a suspect in East Price Hill.
And WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak has been leading the way on this investigation for us. She's live right now, walking us through the video. Hi, Danielle.
Connection to that complex.
Hi there, Mike. This video is very fast. We're talking about 6 seconds. 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle and fired those shots. I do want to warn you, what you're about to watch could be hard to see.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right.
So in a matter of seconds, it all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky. GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Price Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Thiegy explains what happened next.
All four individuals get out and start running. Some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue.
Not yet. We still have
one officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
We do.
They heard
We're
the
working,
metal
like I said, to identify him,
hit the concrete.
and we will use whatever resources
This individual
we need
gets
to try to
up,
locate him.
still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters.
The officer who fired the shots was chasing another suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer. And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
4 to 5 rounds were fired. The suspect was hit twice, given medical care right away, and died. Thiegy says this is the gun the suspect had, a semi-automatic with an extended magazine with another magazine in his pocket.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic. I can't speak to the ones.
His father was not happy about that, so he went looking for revenge when he saw Retired Deputy Larry Henderson directing traffic. He rammed his car into him and killed him in retaliation of what police did to his son.
Ken Cobra is reacting to the last 2 days for officers. An officer-involved shooting that left one person dead Thursday, then a deputy struck near UC's campus on graduation day.
That things that the officers have to go through to protect themselves yesterday, and then today we have a deputy that's killed simply doing his job. And it's a shame. It's tragic that it happened. It's hard to put into words.
Cobra says the sheriff's deputy was working to make sure pedestrians got to graduation safely. Since his passing, Cobra's heard tribute after tribute from law enforcement across the area.
Just a fantastic person, was a fantastic deputy, and it's just an all-around shame that this happened.
The deputy was outside his vehicle helping manage traffic at the intersection of Martin Luther King Drive and Burnett Woods Drive when a car drove into the intersection and struck the deputy. Police later identified the driver of the vehicle as Rodney Hinton Jr., who has been charged with aggravated murder in connection with Henderson's death.
Bringing you the latest on breaking news from yesterday, a recently retired sheriff's deputy has died after police say a driver intentionally hit him. The driver of that vehicle is the father of an 18-year-old that Cincinnati police shot during an altercation on Thursday. Our Taylor Davis joins us live from the Justice Center to give us the latest details on this ongoing story. Taylor, what can you tell us so far?
Well, we know a lot still has to happen here in this case, but again, we're here at the Hamilton County Justice Center this morning because we're just learning that Rodney Hinton Jr., the man accused of this, will be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for an arraignment. Now, if you take a look at this video, let me take you back to this scene, this unspeakable scene. Now, what we've learned is Hinton, again, is the father of the 18-year-old who was killed in the officer-involved shooting on Thursday in East Price Hill. Now, the deputy who was unfortunately lost his life yesterday helping manage traffic when he was struck by a vehicle at the intersection. Now, Cincinnati police are accusing Hinton of driving the vehicle, leaving behind this unspeakable scene that you're taking a look at on your screen right now. Now, the deputy later died at the hospital. We learned from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department that the deputy had recently retired and was only working special duty. Now, as each department mourns this morning, they also say this is still a situation being investigated.
Let the processes play out. Let the investigations play out. Keep calm, take care of one another, and I can assure you, as the chief of police for Cincinnati, I will ensure you transparency and a thorough and accurate investigation.
Police talked about the whole incident and how it was linked to each other and what really transpired.
Now give us an update to the deadly police shooting in East Price Hill yesterday.
It all started as officers investigated 4 people for stealing a car. Let's go to that press conference. Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Purabal at the podium now.
Involved in a shooting in East Price Hill that resulted in the death of one man. I'm here with Police Chief Teresa Thigi, Councilmember Scotty Johnson, City Solicitor Emily Smart-Warner, and Assistant City Manager John Brzezina. We as a city take the loss of life extremely seriously in every circumstance. It is always a tragedy, and it's a tragedy here today. And the processes we have in place because of the collaborative agreement are here to ensure transparency and clarity as we move forward. At the top, I want to thank our police department and all the first responders for their work to keep surrounding residents safe during this incident and during the ensuing search for the remaining suspects. As with every officer-involved shooting, there will be an investigation into this incident with the Citizens Complaint Authority and CPD running parallel investigations. As always, we are committed to a thorough process in accordance with the collaborative, and I am confident that the CCA, our police department, and our city administration will direct these investigations with transparency and clarity. Thankfully, all the responding officers were unharmed. Thank you, and I will now invite Teresa Thigi to speak.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Before I start with the presentation itself, I want to say, when an incident like this one that happened yesterday occurs, the impact is felt long after the moment itself. The emotional toll doesn't end quickly. It lingers with the families, the officers, and the community for an extended period of time. Officers across the country confront dangerous situations every day, sometimes more than once a day. They are often compelled to make split-second decisions to protect others and themselves when faced with immediate threats. Yesterday was one of those occurrences. Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic. No one wins, and everyone involved is affected. As I review the sequence of events from yesterday, you'll see exactly how rapidly these things evolved, and it will permanently alter the lives of everyone involved. Mom. So to give you an idea, this is 2500 Warsaw. I'm going to step out in front for a minute. Warsaw Avenue is down here. This is the long driveway. It goes up a hill. Where the incident occurred is at the dead end of the parking lot back here. You'll see vehicles there now. You'll see a photo. The stolen car that we're going to talk about was backed into a parking spot back there. As you can see, this is a stolen Kia. It was stolen out of northern Kentucky yesterday. You can see we have two uniformed cars there. Prior to those uniformed cars arriving, we had two undercover cars that pulled into that dead end, saw the vehicle. They backed out. They saw that there were individuals inside the vehicle, so they backed out and let the uniformed cars make the approach, which is the tactically sound decision to do. The cars are positioned the way the officers are trained. We are trained to use our vehicles as cover from any threat. That's what those officers did with the cars at that time. This is body-worn camera from officer number 2. Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, so you're looking at officer number 2, gun drawn, circling around to the Kia behind this trash can right now. We've dropped the audio because we are told there is some cursing, some swearing in this, and we don't want to have that aired. But you're seeing the perspective from this officer approaching the suspect.
All 4 individuals get out and start running, some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand. The other officer pursued another occupant that fled from the vehicle, and that'll be significant here in a moment when you see. So this is a still image. Again, I'm going to step out front. The car is parked over this way, okay? They are chasing the individual. So officer number 1 is chasing this guy right here. Okay, this is the guy we ultimately end up shooting. The other officer, who actually fires the shot on this individual, is chasing a different individual further out this way, in this direction. Okay, as this officer is chasing him, he sees a firearm in his hand, and he yells, "Gun, gun," he's got a gun. This individual slips, trips, whatever, falls on the concrete right here. Other officers that were also there say in their interview, they heard the firearm hit the concrete. They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters. Go ahead, Bobby.
Again, we're bringing the audio down because there is potentially language that we do not want aired. And just a warning, we have been told that this video is not blurred. We don't know how much of this they are planning on showing. We just want to give you that heads up.
This officer knows that there's another officer here that is going to ultimately encounter him when he comes through the dumpsters. So he makes him aware of that. He shouts out to him, "On your right, on your right." He's on your right. And that's where this individual comes out from between the dumpsters. This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body camera as he approaches the scene.
All right, again, bringing the audio down here, and this video is not blurred. This is the first time we are seeing this, as well as many of you.
So the police chief was describing how they called out to each other that this suspect was going to be running through the dumpsters. This officer had circled back behind there, anticipating, and that's when he does fire those shots that ended up being deadly. Let's listen back into the chief.
Officers were chasing him. It's just a photo of it here at Criminalistics. Remember I told you he fell on the concrete and the officers said that they heard the metal hit the ground? There are 3 spots on here where this gun has scratches on it. We believe those occurred when he hit the ground with the firearm.
What type of firearm is that, Chief?
Semi-automatic. I don't know the make and model. This is a second. Sorry, Bobby, can you go back 1 frame, please? This magazine was in the firearm. That's an extended magazine, so it holds more rounds. Go ahead. This is a second magazine that was located in his sweatshirt pocket, his jacket pocket. And that is the magazine from that second magazine. This is another firearm that was located inside the stolen vehicle. This is a firearm that was also stolen out of northern Kentucky sometime yesterday, early yesterday morning. Approximately, we believe, based on timelines, this was stolen from a vehicle in northern Kentucky, and then they went on to steal the vehicle that's involved in the incident. So because we are still attempting to 100% verify the individual's identity, the individual who we shot, we're going to list him as John Doe until we can 100% verify that for you. The other 3 individuals that were in the car all ran. This was an extensive search for these individuals. I don't know if anybody's familiar with 2500 Warsaw. It is steep terrain, both directions from that parking lot, heavily wooded. They ran into that area in different directions, and we happen to have as hours of the day that we had several canines available and our drone operators available. So we deployed both of those, got some assistance from community members who were calling us, and we ultimately apprehended this gentleman as well as this gentleman. We still have another person we're looking for. We are attempting to positively identify him, and we'll continue to search for him. As you know, per Marcy's law, we're not going to reveal the officers' names, the officers who were involved, but here is their information. Been on almost 11 years, fugitive apprehension. Been on almost 24 years, fugitive apprehension. This is the scene afterwards. I want to point out this incident, from the time they bailed from the vehicle and police were chasing them to the time the individual was shot, 6 seconds. 6 quick seconds. But the officer's responsibility didn't end there. They did very admirably trying to save this gentleman's life by administering different variations of medical aid until the fire department responded. And this is the, you can see the medical debris, and then this is where the firearm was. Okay, we'll take a few questions.
The suspect, it was very difficult to see, really shows how volatile the situation is. But it was difficult for us to see if the suspect pointed his gun at the officer or whether he just had a gun and was shot because he had a gun. Can you tell why the officer shot the suspect?
Yeah, so just to kind of give you a frame of reference, the individual is running with a firearm in his hand. The officer is running, so the body camera is kind of jolting as the officer's running. What that leaves us with is a very blurred image, unfortunately. However, based on the officer's interviews, the officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. He was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer. And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
How many times did the officer discharge firearm?
We believe 4 or 5.
And hit him.
Okay, so that's Police Chief
We believe-
DG saying about 4 or 5 shots were fired. The other 2 suspects, they showed the pictures there, Austin Jarrell and DeAnthony Bullocks, both arrested. One they're still searching for.
Still searching for, and as she mentioned, it was a very quick exchange, about 6 seconds from the time the officers got out of the car until those shots were fired. We've got our Danielle Dindak live in that press conference. Obviously, more questions are being asked and hopefully answered. We will bring you more updates coming up here at noon.
He was taken to court and there were a lot of police officers out there waiting to pounce on him if they were given the chance.
This morning, we ask that you turn off all cell phones. You may be seated. Please remain quiet during all proceedings.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor.
First case load out to Rodney Hinton.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning.
He said good morning, Judge. He's very soft-spoken.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right. Anything as to probable cause?
Your Honor, we'll waive probable cause this morning. I have submitted designations for John Kennedy and Timothy Bicknell. They will be the attorneys of record handling Mr. Hinton's case. I'll be handling the arraignment this morning.
All right, thank you. Mr. Prosecutor, anything as to bond?
As to bond, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, we understand this is a very, very serious, very terrible charge that Mr. Hinton is facing. He has but he does not have a history, Judge. He has no felonies in his record. His resistance score was a 1. He had no juvenile record. He works at UDF. He's married. He's a father. He's a graduate of Purcell Marion. I understand that this is an emotionally charged situation. I understand that Mr. Hinton's son may have been killed by the police earlier in the week. There was a review of that video. I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now, but in the community at large. And we just ask the court to set a reasonable bond in light of everything to allow the constitutional process to play out.
All right, thank you. Andy, you've given me a pre-trial services sheet. Is that right this morning? All right, the court has had a chance to review that and his past history. Is there anything from the state through the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution.
Could you give us more volume, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution. What we believe that the evidence will show is that yesterday, on or about the 2nd of May, the defendant was traveling, I believe it would be eastbound on Martin Luther King Avenue at MLK, I believe at Burnett Woods at the intersection, I believe immediately north to the rear entrance of the University of Cincinnati. The defendant stops his car. The defendant, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, lined up his car, deliberately accelerated his car, and purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff who was doing a detail at that intersection. As such, we are going to be seeking indictment for aggravated murder, and we would request, in accordance with ORC 2937-222, for a no bond hearing. That rule requires that hearing be set within 3 business days, so we are seeking to set that date on the 6th of May of 2025, that would be next Tuesday.
The slain cop was mourned by the police department.
This should be a death penalty case.
Plus, the outpouring of love and respect by police and sheriff, the thin blue line watching over their brother, and the police chief pleading for peace.
Let the processes play out. Let the investigations play out. Keep calm.
What do you think about this case? Let us know in the comments section.